Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. We're continuing our reading of Shakespeare's Caesar, and I love Shakespeare, and Macbeth is my favorite play thus far, and I hope to read every single play, and I hope you do as well, because not only do you learn a different style of English, but you see beauty in his style of writing. Let us begin. We're in Scene 3, Act IV. We enter Lucius with the gown. Bismillah. Give me the gown. Where is thy instrument? Lucius. Here in the tent. Brutus. What thou speakest drowsily, poor knave. I blame thee not, thou art o'erwatched. Call Claudius and some other of my men. I'll have them sleep on cushions in my tent. Lucius. Varro and Claudius. Enter Varro and Claudius. Varro. Calls my lord? Brutus. I pray you, sir, he is in my tent, and sleep. It may be I shall raise you by and by on business to my brother Cassius. Varro. So please you, we will stand and watch your pleasure. Brutus. I will not have it so. He down, good sirs. It may be I shall otherwise bethink me. Look, Lucius, here is the book I sought for so. I put in the pocket of my gown. Varro and Claudius. He down. Lucius. I was sure your lordship did not give it to me. Brutus. Bear with me, good boy. I am much forgetful. Canst thou hold up thy heavy eyes a while, and touch thy instrument a strain or two? Lucius. Eh, my lord, on't please you. It does, my boy. I trouble thee too much, but thou art willing. It is my duty, sir. I should not urge thy duty past thy might. I know young bloods look for a time of rest. I have slept, my lord, already. It was well done, and thou shalt sleep again. I will not hold thee long. If I do have, I will be good to thee, music and song. This is a sleepy tune, O murderous slumber. Layest thou thy leaden mace upon my boy, that plays thee music? Gentle knave, good night. I will not do thee so much wrong to wake thee. If thou dost nod, thou breakest thy instrument. I'll take it from thee. And good boy, good night. Let me see. Is not the leaf turned down where I left reading? Here it is, I think. So we can notice here Shakespeare's classic knave comments. Poor knave, gentle knave. That should kind of be a comeback, or like, stop being a knave. Enter the ghost of Caesar. How ill this taper burns. Ha! Who comes here? I think it is the weakness of mine eyes that shapes this monstrous apparition. It comes upon me, out there anything, out there some god, some angel, or some devil. Thou makest my blood cold and my hair to stare. Speak to me, what thou art. Ghost. Thy evil spirit, Brutus. Why comest thou? To tell thee thou shalt see me at Philippi. Well, then I shall see thee again, ay, at Philippi. Why, I will see thee at Philippi then. Exit ghost. Oh my goodness. Now I have taken heart, thou vanishest. Ill spirit, I would hold more talk with thee. Boy, Lucius, Varro, Claudius, sirs awake. Claudius. Lucius. The strings, my lord, are false. He thinks he still is at his instrument. Lucius, awake. My lord, Didst thou dream, Lucius, that thou so criedest out? My lord, I do not know what I did cry. Yes, that thou didst. Didst thou see anything? Nothing, my lord. Sleep again, Lucius. Sirrah, Claudius! To Varro. Fellow, thou awake! My lord, my lord, why did you so cry out, sirs, in your sleep? Did we, my lord? Ay, saw you anything? No, my lord, I saw nothing. Nor I, my lord. Go and commend me to my brother Cassius. Bid him set on his powers bedtime before, and we will follow. It shall be done, my lord. Exeunt. Oh, I mean, Brutus to not get freaked out when he sees a ghost, I'd be like, ah! He wakes up everyone to see if they saw anything, so it was just him. Act B, Scene 1, the plains of Philippi. Enter Octavius, Antony, and their army. Octavius. Now, Antony, our hopes are answered. You said the enemy would not come down, but keep the hills and upper regions. It proves not so, their battles are at hand. They mean to warn us at Philippi here, answering before we do demand of them. Antony. Tut, I am in their bosoms, and I know wherefore they do it. They could be content to visit other places and come down with fearful bravery, thinking by this face to fasten in our thoughts that they have courage. But 'tis not so. Enter a messenger. Messenger. Prepare you, generals. The enemy comes on in gallant show. Their bloody sign of battle is hung out, and something to be done immediately. Antony. Octavius, lead your battle softly on, upon the left hand of the even field. Octavius. Upon the right hand I, kept thou the left. Antony. Why did you cross me in this exigent? I do not cross you, but I will do so. March. Drum. Boom, boom, boom. Enter Brutus, Cassius, and their army, Lucilius, Titanius, Messala, and others. Brutus. They stand and would have parley. Cassius. Stand fast, Titanius, we must out and talk. Octavius. Monk Antony, shall we give sign of battle? Antony. No, Caesar, we will answer on their charge. Make forth, the generals would have some words. Octavius. Stir not until the signal. Brutus. Words before blows, is it so, countrymen? Octavius. Not that we love words better as you do. Brutus. Good words are better than bad strokes, Octavius. Antony. In your bad strokes, Brutus, you give good words witness the hole you made in Caesar's heart, crying, Long live, hail Caesar. Cassius. Antony, the posture of your blows are yet unknown, but for your words they rob the Hybla bees, and leave them honeyless. Antony. Not stingless too? Brutus. Oh yes, and soundless too, for you have stolen their buzzing, Antony, and very wisely threat before you sting. Antony. Villets! You did not so, when your vile daggers hacked one another in the sides of Caesar. You showed your teeth like apes, and fawned like hounds, and bowed like bondmen kissing Caesar's feet, while damned Casca, like a cur behind, struck Caesar on the neck. Oh, you flatterers. Cassius. Flatterers! Now, Brutus, thank yourself. This tongue had not offended so today, if Cassius might have ruled. This a threat right there. So he's like, oh, that tongue of yours, if I would have been a leader, it would have led you to death already. Octavius. Come, the cause, if arguing make us sweat, the proof of it will turn to redder drops. Look, I draw sword against the conspirators. When think you that the sword goes up again? Never till Caesar's 33 wounds be avenged, or till another Caesar hath added slaughter to the sword of traitors. Brutus. Caesar, thou canst not die by traitors' hands unless thou bringest them with thee. Octavius. So I hope. I was not born to die on Brutus's sword. Brutus. Oh, if thou wert the noblest of thy strain, young man, thou couldst not die more honorable. So that's a good tit for tat right there. So Octavius is showing confidence, like, I wasn't meant to die on your sword. And Brutus is like, hey, if you were the noblest of thy strain, so if you were the most noble of your lineage, right, of your family tree, then it actually would be quite honorable for you. Kind of denoting that Brutus's sword is drenched with those of nobility. I mean, he got Caesar's blood on his sword, so if you look at it from Brutus's perspective, right? Cassius. Oh, peevish schoolboy, worthless of such honor, joined with a masker and reveler. So that's really... It's funny. Peevish schoolboy. So kind of just saying that, like, Octavius is out of his league. Notice how they are calling him young. And that he's not really schooled in the art of war yet. You know, Cassius and Brutus, they obviously have carried out their plots. Octavius has to kind of prove his merit. And the maskless and revelers kind of hinting at Antony's skirt chasing and stuff like that as an insult. Antony. Old, Cassius still. Octavius. Come, Antony, away. And Antony chides back, calling him old. That's funny, man. A little bit of humor, right? You know, a little bit of humor. Octavius. Come, Antony, away. Defiance, traitors, hurl we in your teeth. If you dare fight today, come to the field. If not, when you have stomachs. Ooh. If you dare fight today, come to the field. If not, when you have stomach, right? You're lily-livered. You're chicken-blooded. You ain't ready for that. But when you're ready, square up. Literally square your legions. Exile Octavius, Antony, and their army. Cassius. Why now? Blow wind, swell billow, and swim bark. The storm is up, and all is on the hazard. Brutus. Oh, Lucilius, hark, a word with you. Lucilius, standing forward. My lord. Brutus and Lucilius converse apart. So they're off to the side, having a conversation. Cassius. Messala. Messala standing forth. What says my general? Cassius. Messala, this is my birthday, and this very day was Cassius born. Give me thy hand, Messala. Be thou my witness that against my will, as Pompey was, am I compelled to set upon one battle all our liberties. You know that I held Epicurus strong in his opinion. Now I change my mind, and partly credit things that do presage, coming from Sardis. On our former ensign, 2 mighty eagles fell, and there they perched, going and feeding from our soldiers' hands, who to Philippi here consorted us. This morning are they fled away and gone, and in their steads do ravens, crows, and kites fly o'er our heads and downward look on us. As we were sickly prey, their shadows seem a canopy most fatal, under which our army lies, ready to give up the ghost. Interesting here, an omen. Islam, I remember Hadith saying we're not allowed to take birds as omen. You see, the Romans, with their paganism, really did take omens from birds. So here you see eagles, 2 mighty eagles. They're perching, they're fed from the soldiers' hands, right? But now you see birds of prey. Crows, you know, you're dead, they're gonna get some lunch. I feed the crows. I love crows. I think they're a very cool bird, but, you know, they're gonna recycle me. And crows and ravens and vultures, kites, all that. And so they're flying over them and looking down, and I like how he used this phrase, canopy most fatal, because a canopy brings shade, right? And the wingspan of some birds of prey is quite large, and if you have several, going around soaring, they do create a sort of canopy, don't they? Which is very picturesque when you imagine a battlefield, a place where this is going to happen. It's almost as if it's hinting at the birds know some death is going to occur there, a grand spectacle of death. Because when you go and sit and eat at a picnic table, seagulls come, and if there's nobody at the picnic tables, sometimes there's still going to be some seagulls and pigeons there, because they know this is what's coming. They know someone's going to come, drop food, we're going to eat. And if if seagulls are hanging around the docks, there may be no boats in the port, but in the harbor, but they're familiar with, okay, this is where all the fishermen come in, and we can sometimes take a fish. So these birds of prey, scavenger birds, know this is a gathering place. It's almost like they can smell the energy in a weird way. Right? They have the intelligence to understand maybe shiny swords and just feeling the tensity in the air, maybe. I'd argue. Who knows? Allah knows best, but birds, animals do have a sense of intelligence about them. And he's taking this, Cassius, as a sort of omen that things might not go as they hoped. Masala, believe not so. Cassius, I but believe it partly, for I am fresh of spirit and resolved to meet all perils very constantly. To meet all perils very constantly. So, you're not wishy-washy. You're not fickle. Determined. A constant, rhythmic, steady pace. Steadfastness, essentially. Brutus, even so, Lucilius. Cassius, now most noble Brutus, the gods today stand friendly that we may, lovers in peace, lead on our days to age. But since the affairs of men rest still uncertain, let's reason with the worst that may befall. If we do lose this battle, then is this the very last time we shall speak together? What are you then determined to do? Brutus, even by the rule of that philosophy by which I do blame Cato for the death which he did give himself. I know not how, but I do find it cowardly and vile, for fear of what might fall, so to prevent that time of life, arming myself with patience, to stay the providence of some high powers that govern us below. Cassius, then if we lose this battle, you are contented to be led in triumph through the streets of Rome. I like this part right here. I think is pretty cool, personally, is the Roman triumphs where some enemies were captured and paraded. It is said Caesar paraded Vercingetorix nude and executed him by lopping off his head. I think that's a pretty cool display of the conquering energy. Something about it. I wonder what it would feel like to be there. Just that type of nationalism, that type of camaraderie, of pride, and seeing the enemies paraded. Game of Thrones did an interesting one of that when Euron Greyjoy had the Sand Snake and Ilaria Sand, I think was her name, and his niece, paraded through the streets, and people were throwing them at them, and it's almost like there's something to that in the human conscience to see the enemies paraded. Now, if you're innocent and you're on the opposite side of that, not good. But Cassius is hinting at the humiliation that's going to come. That's key here. Either you're the one who gets to triumph and parade your enemies, or you will be paraded. So this makes me think of the quote by Cersei Lannister: when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. When you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. And so something like that. I don't have it perfectly memorized, but it gets to the gist of when you're playing these types of warfare games, they see it as a game, as you saw earlier. I mean, there's a winner and loser, and if there's a winner and loser, it's a form of a game. Even if you don't want to use the words of that, because it's competition. Warfare is competition, right? Who's going to win? There can only be one winner, right? Unless they both just decimate each other. But in that vacuum, someone's going to pick up the torch, which is exactly what happened in the ending of Game of Thrones. Daenerys is dead, Jon is exiled, and then in that vacuum, they chose Brandon. Alright, so someone always comes in the vacuum if the two challenging parties fail. Like, Cersei died, Dany died. It was supposed to be either or, and then they had to have a meeting to see who was going to now be the ruler. So, when you examine how, in this situation, it's these two camps going at it, who's going to win? You want to be triumphed through the street? Paraded, mocked, degraded. They've lived a noble life. Remember, they're also bad as well, if you like Caesar. They are known right now as those who took out Caesar. Do they want to now say, oh, how the mighty have fallen, to be then paraded by Mark Antony and Octavius? Do you see how the history book will change on them? Brutus. No, Cassius. No, think not, thou noble Roman, that ever Brutus will go bound to Rome. He bears too great a mind, but this same day must end that work, the Ides of March begun, and whether we shall meet again, I know not. Therefore, our everlasting farewell take forever, and forever farewell, Cassius. If we do not meet again, we shall smile. If not, why then this parting was well made. Cassius. Forever, and forever farewell, Brutus. If we do meet again, we'll smile indeed. If not, 'tis true, this parting was well made. Brutus. Why then lead on, oh, that a man might know the end of this day's business ere it comes. But it suffices that the day will end, and then the end is known. Come, ho, away! Exit. Perfect. The next will be scene 2, but we'll pause here. Scene 1, talk about action, humor, beautiful wordings. I'm really satisfied with it. It's really a pregnant moment, as they call it. To leave it on a nice cliffhanger, what will happen. It came to a nice end between Cassius and Brutus having a farewell dialogue. The omens of the birds. The ghost of Caesar. Very cool section. Very good reading. I wonder how he's going to make the battle scene. It's going to be good. Mashallah. Great writing. Masked Reveler. Where's that one? Let's just go back for a second. I like that one. Oh yeah, Knave. Right? Knave. Poor Knave. Let's have a shirt that says Knave on it. It's great. Great. Mashallah. Now, if you haven't read this, I do encourage you to go ahead and read it, because hearing it is one thing, reading it is another. And it is funny, Cassius called him a peevish schoolboy, joined with a masked reveler, and how Brutus is still saying that Caesar cannot die by traitors' hands unless thou bringest them with thee. So, Brutus, I don't think he really sees himself as a traitor. You know, he still considers himself as someone of noble worth, and in the company of someone noble, as he told Cassius, noble Roman, right? It's great. Oh, man. It really would be cool to have a time machine and then just be a fly on the wall and see how these whole dialogues played out. Shakespeare obviously gave us some entertainment, but if you actually had the opportunity to see, I think that would be pretty cool. The body language, the power plays, the tough decisions that had to be made. It's awesome. Take care, and if you'd like to support my work, you can do so via my blog, which is www.subscribestar.com/MilahanArtGuide. Hope to see you there.